No, we're good. It's okay. They're in the front row now. It's the rest of you in the back row that aren't in the back row anymore. I go through this every Shabbat now. It's just pretty funny. No one wants to sit up next to me. I'm sorry. Now, one day I'm going to freak y'all out. I'm going to set up back there. And no, I'm saying you're the one in the front row now. You're important. You guys are important. The rest of them back there that, you sat up front. Now it's the front for sure. You're all right. You're good. You're good. It's just fine. No, you're good right where you are because I'm coming down. This is about where I can come down. Hi, La La Land. You waved to everybody. Page 5, you will find Shalom Aleichem. And again, I think we're all a bit punchy. I'm glad I'm not the only punchy one right now. It has been a long week, and we are anticipating the arrival of Passover, which made things very busy around here, cooking and cleaning and all those fun things. But this is Shabbat Hagadol, the great Shabbat before Passover. And I think it really does come at a good time because, like I just said, you got to take a breath. You can't get anything else done. Shabbat says Shabbat, and it says come take a breath from the rest of the work, and it'll still be there when Shabbat is over. So we will enjoy Shabbat here and at home and just take a breath from the rest of the week. I think we all need it. So page 5. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei HaSharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem L'Shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruch Hu Ni L'Shalom Malachei HaShalom Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzeitzchem L'Shalom Malachei HaShalom Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. If you'll kindly turn to page 11, where you'll find the formal beginning of Kabbalat Shabbat, and we join together. Lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu neranena, ladonai. Lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu neranena, ladonai. Naria, naria, litzur yishenu, Nekadma fana bitoda. Naria, naria, litzur yishenu. Bizmi rot naria lo. Lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu neranena, ladonai. Lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu neranena, ladonai. You'll kindly turn to page 14 by the arrow. We join together, reminding ourselves that Shabbat is a time to rejoice and be celebrating together as the earth and the seas do, so do we. Page 14 by the arrow. Yismechu hashamayim, hashamayim, Yismechu hashamayim, hashamayim, Yismechu hashamayim, v'tagel haaretz. Yihiram hayam, yihiram hayam, yihiram hayam, umelo, yihiram hayam, yihiram hayam, yihiram hayam, umelo, yismechu hashamayim, yismechu hashamayim, ישמחו השמיים ותגל הארץ. We turn over to page 19. We actually haven't read this one in a few weeks. The very bottom left of the page, our prayer coming from the Tel Aviv prayer community. And we remind ourselves again of Shabbat as a time of redemption, as a taste of the world, as we wish it can be, that sense of shalom that we seek. So page 19, let's read together at the bottom in the small print. Blessed is your coming, Shabbat. Blessed is your coming. Bring with you rest and peace following a tumultuous week filled with so many demands. Bring the space in which, with others and alone, we can shape an infinity of dreams. Bring the hour of forgiveness in which to hear the pounding heart of another human being. Blessed is your coming, Shabbat. Blessed is your Creator. Blessed is your light. Page 20 by the arrow, we join together. Romimu Adonai Eloheinu v'hishtachavu lehar kodsho. Romimu Adonai Eloheinu v'hishtachavu lehar kodsho. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romimu. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romimu. Romimu Adonai Eloheinu v'hishtachavu lehar kodsho. Romimu Adonai Eloheinu v'hishtachavu lehar kodsho. So kindly turn over to page 21. And if you are able to rise as we join together in the 29th Psalm, reminding ourselves to listen for God's voice in the world. Mizmor leDavid, havu l'Adonai b'nei Elim, havu l'Adonai kavod va'os, havu l'Adonai kevod shemo, ishtachavu l'Adonai behadrat kodesh, kol Adonai al hamayim, El hakavod hirim Adonai al mayim rabim, Kol Adonai ba'koach, Kol Adonai behadar, Kol Adonai shover arazim, Vayishaber Adonai et arze halevanon, Vayarkidem kemo egel Levanon v'Siryon kimoven re'emim, Kol Adonai chotzef lavotesh, Kol Adonai yachil midbar, yachil Adonai midbar kadesh, Kol Adonai yecholel ayalot, vayechesof yeharot, uve'echalo kulo omer, Kulo omer kavod, Adonai lamabu yashav, Vayeshev Adonai melech leolam, Adonai os leamo yitein, Adonai yevarech et amo v'shalom. You're welcome to be seated. Page 23, you'll find Lecha Dodi as we welcome Shabbat, the Shabbat bride or queen, into our midst. We'll do the first two verses, the middle one on 24, and the last two. And as we get to that very last verse on page 25, we will rise and face the door. I'll give you the signal as we welcome in again the spiritual bride and queen of Shabbat to our midst. So page 23. Lecha dodi likrat kala pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala pnei Shabbat nekabela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibor echad. Hishmi'anu el hamyuchad Adonai echad u'shemo echad l'shem u'tiferet v'litila lechad dodi likrat kala pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala pnei Shabbat nekabela. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha ki mekor habaracha mehirosh mikedem nesucha sof ma'aseh b'machshavat tchila. Lecha dodi likrat kala pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala pnei Shabbat nekabela. 24. Hitoreri Kiva orech kumi ori shirda beiri kevod Adonai Allah yechnigla lecha dodi likrat kala pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala pnei Shabbat nekabela. Yaminu semol tifrotzi v'et Adonai ta'aritzi yarish ben parzi v'nismecha v'nagila. Lecha dodi likrat kala pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala. We rise. Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Boi v'shalom ateret bala. Gam besimcha uvetzahala toch emunei am segula bawichala lecha dodi likrat kala pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala pnei Shabbat nekabela. You are welcome to be seated. Psalm for Shabbat you'll find over on page 27. Mizmor shir leyom haShabbat tov lehodod laDonai. Ulezamer l'shimcha elyon, ulezamer l'shimcha elyon. Lehagid baboker chastecha, ve'emunatcha balelot. Alei asor v'alei navel, alei higayon bechinor. Mizmor shir leyom haShabbat tov lehodod laDonai. Ulezamer l'shimcha elyon, ulezamer l'shimcha elyon. Ki simchtani Adonai b'folecha ma'aseitecha. "28 by the arrow. Tzadika tamar yifrach ke'erez balevanon yiskeshetulim bevet Adonai bechatzrot Eloheinu Yafrichu od yenuvun beseva teshenim verananim yiyu lehagid ki ashar Adonai Tzuri velo avlatabo. Those reciting Kaddish Tome, the Mourner's Kaddish, you'll find it over on page 30. Again, anyone reciting, you're welcome to rise and join with me. Yit gadal v'yit kadash shemei rabbah be'alma divrach irute v'yamlich malchute v'chayechon uvyomechon uvchaye dechol beit Yisrael ba'agala uvizman kariv v'imru amen. Yehi shmei rabbah mevarach le'olam elomei omaya yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yithalal shemei dekudasha b'richu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata da'amiran b'alma v'imru amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. May be seated. So last week we talked a little bit about the parashah, the parashah of Tazria, which, if you remember, has in it the description of what is commonly referred to, tzara'at, which is commonly referred to as leprosy, but we recognize it also perhaps as some other kind of contagious disease that requires quarantine. And we'll talk tomorrow about some of the specifics during the Saturday morning service as we read the Parsha of Metzora, which is the continuation of this description. These portions are often together. This year, the way the calendar works, we separate them. So we have 2 weeks to study the exciting, never-ending adventures of skin diseases. But as I shared with you last week, modern commentators look at these, and even our ancient commentators looked at the description in the Torah, and especially the rabbis of the Talmud recognize that the Torah is supposed to be a ladder for our souls, not merely a prescription for physical health. And so playing linguistically on the word sara'at, I shared with this last week, I think, the Hebrew word from the same root is mitzora, the name of our portion. And those letters stand for Motzi Shem Ra, one who talks Ra, one who speaks or talks or says in the name with Ra. So it basically translates into one who gossips. And if you remember, if you were here, I talked about how the rabbis came to look at the 7 types of behavior that the plague of tzara'at in their mind represented. And those were things like having haughty eyes, a lying tongue, hands that shed innocent blood in secret, a mind that hatches evil, feet that are quick to do wrong, a witness who testifies falsely and no one knows about it, of course, and one who incites people to fight amongst themselves, to quarrel. And what's neat about the 7 is that these are behaviors that are things that we can't necessarily punish. You can't put a legal nature to them, right? You can't bring somebody to court for figuring out how to manipulate you to make you quarrel with somebody. These are spiritual afflictions, in essence, that require us to kind of have our own motivation to change our ways. And again, the Torah's prescription for isolation and for coming back is a part of the reading this week that we'll share tomorrow. But I want to share with you a story this evening that taking off of the idea of a Metzora. It's from Jewish folklore, and it's about a case of somebody who had basically tzara'at, right? A person who's clearly inflicted with this disease, this contagious disease, i.e. their behavior reflects several of the 7 categories that I just shared with you that came from the rabbi's understanding of what this disease really was about. So in the end, you will see how he is cured of his tzara'at. You may have heard this story before. It comes from Spain, where Shmuel HaNagid lived. He is one of our greats. And hundreds of years ago, he lived in Spain, where the Muslims were ruling the land at the time, and all was actually going very well for us as Jews. In fact, Shmuel himself had become advisor to the king. And many people wished to hold such a prestigious position. Some wanted it so badly they were very envious of Shmuel, and they would insult him behind his back, so they were jealous. They would spread rumors around the city of Granada that Shmuel was out to harm the king, and that Shmuel gave the king poor advice, and that Shmuel was looking out for the welfare of only the Jews and neglecting everybody else in the community. And in particular, there was a merchant who sold goods from a little shop just outside the palace walls. And he had heard all those rumors about Shmuel, and unfortunately, you know what happens when someone spreads a rumor? People believe it, right? So he really hated Shmuel, and he blamed him for everything that went wrong in the city. It's Shmuel's fault. Each morning when Shmuel walked to the palace, he passed by this merchant's shop. And as he went by, the merchant would run out of the shop, shout insults at him, and chase him all the way to the palace gates. That doesn't probably bode well for his business, but this is what the guy did. So one day Shmuel went out for a walk with the king. And on their way, they happened to pass the merchant's shop outside the walls. And as always, as soon as the merchant saw Shmuel, he rushed out, screamed insults and accusations, and he was so angry and so full of hatred, he didn't even notice that Shmuel was walking with the king. But the king, of course, notices him. "Arrest that man," the king called to the guards that were walking right behind him. "Throw him in jail until I decide what to do with him." Well, sitting in his prison cell, the merchant was no longer very angry. Instead, he was a little scared. He was frightened, actually, and he imagined that the king would be ordering terrible punishments upon him. "Perhaps he would even have my tongue cut out," cried the merchant. The more he thought about it, the more sick at heart he became. Tears began to roll down his cheeks, and he sat there sobbing for quite a while. What was the king going to do? Well, what would you do if you were the king? You had absolute power. You could do whatever you wanted to do, right? "Well, Shmuel, my friend," said the king, "since the insults were directed at you, I'm going to let you command the punishment." That was the king's solution. Call Shmuel in and say, "Shmuel, this was against you. What should I do with this man?" "Well, if that's the case," replied Shmuel, "I ask you to release the merchant." Now remember, Shmuel was used to hearing him every day as he walked by, complaining and yelling and screaming and saying ill things against him. "Release him." The king could not believe that Shmuel had said that. "Why should I release a man that's so full of hatred and that has directed his anger toward you each and every day for so many years? Why give him such a break?" Shmuel answered, "My tradition teaches that one who seeks forgiveness must first learn to forgive. If I were to cut out his tongue, I would only confirm the terrible impression that he has of me and give him a reason to hate me all the more. So let him have a reason to respect me, and that he can learn that lesson for himself if we take no action." So what did the king do? Well, he listened. He listened to his trusted advisor, his wise sage, and the king did as Shmuel asked. And when the merchant was told that Shmuel had requested his release, he was overjoyed. The next day, what do you think is going to happen? Well, when Shmuel passed the shop on his way to the palace, the merchant rushed out and began shouting in Shmuel's direction. This time, however, his voice was full of praise and full of respect. and rather he changed his tone from that of hatred and insult. In fact, the merchant spread the word of Shmuel's wisdom and compassion all over the city of Granada. Months later, the king spoke with Shmuel about his act of forgiveness. And once again, you have advised me well, said the king. I wished to have the man's tongue cut out, but you showed me a way to replace his wicked tongue with one of respect. Such is your wisdom, and such is my blessing. It's a nice story about a real person, by the way. Shmuel HaNagid was a real person living during that period of time. I can't vouch for whether this story was true or not. It is from Jewish folklore. But I think to me it's a wonderful tale, a creative version, if you will, of the message that's hidden in the details of Tzara'at, that we find in the Torah reading of Tazria and of Mitzorah this week. It reminds us, number one, about the power of forgiveness, certainly. It also reminds us about the ability that each of us has to change our behavior. We have a direction, we have a path, but you know what? We can change that. And the need to not only alter what we say, but our thoughts and our actions. And certainly it's a story that tells us about what happens when we don't think about how we talk, how we gossip, what we might say about somebody. And here comes the story of Shmuel to let us know, remember, we have the ability to bring people down, but we also have the ability to raise people up. And it's a tall order, but I think it's worth working for as we all seek to create a community of holiness. And that is really what the Torah readings are all about. It's about maintaining a sense of holiness amidst the community. And again, if you're here tomorrow, we'll talk a little bit more about that. One of the ways that Tzara'at was dealt with in particular was the priest would come, would diagnose you, and then separate you from the community. And it was only after time and a series of events that you would come back into the community. So this story is certainly one that reminds us that Shmuel taught a good lesson, and that sense of holiness that we have to act with individuals, and certainly within the grander scheme of our world, is very important and one worth working towards. So with that, think of the story of Shmuel HaNagid as we turn to page 39a, where you will find the beginning of the evening service. Once again, I'll ask if you are able to rise as we join together. 39a. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach, HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. HaMevorach, HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. You may be seated. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bivro mariv. Umavir yom umehevi laila umavdil ben yom uven laila Adonai tzavot shemo el chai v'kayam tamid yimloch aleinu le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Amari Varavim. Page 40, we join together. Ahavat olam beit Yisrael amchavta Torah u'mitzvot chukim u'mishpatim otanu limadeta al kein Adonai Eloheinu B'shachveinu u'v'kumeinu nasiach b'chukecha v'nismach b'divrei Toratecha u'v'mitzvotecha le'olam va'ed ki heim chayenu v'orech yameinu V'yorech yameinu, uvahem negei yomam v'layla, yomam v'layla. V'yahavadcha al tasir mimenu le'olamim, Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev amo Yisrael. Page 41. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kavod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha, B'chol levavcha, u'b'chol nafshecha, u'b'chol me'odecha, Ve'hayu hadvarim ha'ele, asher anochi mitzavecha, hayom alevavecha, v'shinantam levanecha, v'dibarta bam, v'shivtecha b'beitecha, uvlechtecha v'derech, uvshochbecha uvkumecha, ukshartam leot al yadecha, v'hayu letotafot bein einecha, uchtavtam al mezuzot beitecha, uvisharecha. We join together in the English on 41. You shall love Adonai your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all that is yours. These words that I command you this day shall be taken to heart. Teach them again and again to your children. Speak of them when you sit in your home, when you walk on your way, when you lie down, and when you rise up. Bind them as a sign upon your hand and as a symbol above your eyes. Inscribe them upon the doorposts of your home and on your gates. We can turn on over to page 44. There you'll find Umalchuto b'ratzon leading up to Michamocha. We join together. Umalchuto b'ratzon kiblu aleihem, Moshe Miriam uvnei Yisrael lechanu shira b'simcha rabba v'yamru chulam, Michamocha ba'elim Adonai, Mikamocha nedar b'kodesh, Nohora tehilot osefele, Malchutecha ra'u vanecha, bokei hayam lifnei Moshe ze'elianu v'yamru, Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed, v'ne'emar kifad Adonai et Yaakov, u'ga'alo miyad chazak mimenu, Baruch atah Adonai gal Yisrael. Page 45 on the left, you'll find Hashkivenu, our prayer asking for a sense of shalom, for peace as we end our day and as we move into our new day, and as we move into Shabbat. Page 45, we join together in the English. Allow us, Adonai, our God, to sleep peacefully. Awaken us to life, O Sovereign. Spread over us your canopy of peace. Restore us with your good counsel, and save us for the sake of your name. Shield us. Remove from us enemies, pestilence, sword, starvation, and sorrow. Remove the evil forces that surround us. Shelter us in the shadow of your wings. For you, God, watch over and deliver us, and you, God, are sovereign, merciful, and compassionate. Ensure our going and coming for life and peace now and forever. May you spread over us your canopy of peace. Baruch atah Adonai, who spreads the canopy of peace over us, over all the people Israel, and over Jerusalem. Ushmor tzeitenu uvo'enu l'chaim l'shalom me'atav yad olam, ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha. Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukat shalom aleinu v'al kol amo Yisrael v'al Yerushalayim. Page 46, you'll find Vishamru, we rise. Sam, if you'll come forward and help us out on the singing of Vishamru as we join together with you. Page 46. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני, את השמיים ואת הארץ ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם וביום השביעי שבת וינפש שבת וינפש ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. We remain standing for Chatzi Kaddish as Sam leads us, page 46.
Gadol v'yikadash shemei Rabba.
Amen.
V'yalma divrach yirutei v'yamlich malchutei.
B'chayechon u'v'yomechon u'v'chayei dechol beit Yisrael bagala u'v'zman kariv v'meru amen. Yehishmei Rabba mevorach le'olam l'almei almaya yitbarach
V'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yithalel v'yithalal shemei dekudashah
berichu
le'elam min kol birchata v'shirata
tushbechata v'nechemata damihiran b'alma v'meru amen. You'll find the silent Amidah this evening beginning page 47 through 52. As always, feel free to add your own personal thoughts to the words on the page, and when you're through, you're welcome to be seated. Page 47.
Gadol v'yikdash shemei Rabbah.
Amen.
V'yoma dibra pute v'yom lichma pute v'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael ba'agala u'izman kari v'yimeru. Amen. Yehi shmei Rabbah mevorach le'olam olam le'olam yitbarach yitbarach v'yishtabah v'yipa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yithalel v'yithalal shmei d'kudishah Le'elam min kol birchata v'shirata tushvachata v'nechamata da'amiran b'yalma v'imiru. Amen. Tikabal toloton uvauton d'chol Yisrael ka'adam uvuhon divi shamaya v'imiru. Amen. Yitei shalama rabba min shamaya v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imiru. Amen. Oseh shalom bivromam,
Uyasa shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru, imru, amen. Yahasa shalom, Yahasa shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, Yahasa shalom, Yahasa shalom. Shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Thank you, Sam. We'll get you back up for a few minutes for aleinu. We turn backward, however, in our Siddur, or forward, I guess I should say, not backward, but forward, to 173. There you will find the prayer, our prayer for healing and for health. And as we study these portions, about illnesses and contagious diseases, skin diseases, things people can catch, things that separate people from others, things that require quarantine. We recognize all the more that when we are sick in modern times, it is a sense of otherness, right? Of separation, regardless of whether we have to be quarantined or not. And after COVID, we all understand what that means. But certainly as we sing our prayer for healing this evening, we send good thoughts to those who are in need of healing, whether it be physical, emotional, or spiritual in nature. So page 173, you'll find it as we keep in our thoughts. And after I have listed the names that I have, you're welcome to add. We'll go around the room and add any names you may have on your list. Tonight we keep in our thoughts Daniel Eliezer ben Tzvi, Shulamit bat Gittel, Yisraela bat Tzipora, Shulamit bat Binyamin uMalka, Chana bat Avraham Vasara, Dan Siegel, Danielle Rice, Gittel Glasser, Ari Sanders, Ariella Alfieri, Peyton Matthews, Bill Buck, Samuel Sheridan, Estelle Lurie, Lynn Alexander, Marjorie Morstein, Linda Cutler, Diane Hickey, Barbara Feingold, Harriet Siegel, Lori Kahan Simon, Nadine Hyman, Ed Tansky, Irene Friedman, Joel Lowenstern, Gary Kramer, Arthur Stone, Natalie Kogan, Diana Saltzman, Victor Alfieri, Michael Abrams, Francis Haber, Michelle Stupak, Caitlin Weathers, Alex Schwartz, Danielle Santini, Becky Smith, Julia Bernanke, Irene Goodman, Teresa Timmons, Esther Rowe, Suzanne Gott, Joan Klepp, Estelle Rice, Hannah Lipman, Gary Hutcher, Deborah Haggery, Susan Aller, and Megan Contigno. And any names we add at this moment? Fine here. Any others? We keep all of them in our thoughts as we turn to 173 on the far left. Mishebeirach avotenu mikor hameracha leimotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mishebeirach Imotenu Mikor habaracha lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. Refuah shlema to all in need. We turn back to page 56. Sam, if you'll come on up again. Wendy and Alice, if you guys want to help with the doors and the curtain and the doors of the ark, that would be lovely. Page 56, we rise as we join together in Aleinu. 1, 2, 3, go. Open it up. Yep.
Aleinu lishabeach la'adon hakol, la'teit gedula liotzer
Bereshit.
Shelo asanu kigoye haratzot, Velo samanu kamishpachot ha'adam,
Shelo samchel kenu kahem, v'gahor aleinu kechol hamonam, v'anachnu korim, u'mishtachavim u'modim, lifnei melech, malchei hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Shehunot Shamayim v'yoser haaretz, u'moshav yikaro b'shamayim mima'al, u'shchinatu zo, b'gavhei meromim, u'Eloheinu einot, emet malkeinu efes ulato, Kakatu b'torato, v'yadat hayom v'hashevota el levavecha, ki Adonai hu ha'Elohim, b'shamayim mima'al, v'yaretz v'itachat enot. Ki ha-malchut shelcha hi olamei atim loch bechavod, kakatu b'toratecha Adonai imloch le'olam va'ed, v'ne'emar v'haya Adonai l'melech al kol ha'aretz, bayom hahu, yeh Adonai echad, u'shemo echad, u'shemo echad. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I appreciate very much your help. You are welcome to be seated. Hang here to help at the end. You're going to sit for a second. I have Warner's Cottage and stuff to do first. So if you want to sit for a sec. We'll get Sam back up here at the very end. Page 58, you will find Kaddish Tome, our mourner's Kaddish. And as we recite mourner's Kaddish today, we keep in our thoughts those whose yortzites occur tonight, actually, in the week that's coming. Alfred Krauss, Bob Ross, Carmen Martinez, Joe Guzik, Gussie Stern, Anna Balban, Alfred Gleisch, Albert Swadden, Joseph Goldstein, Ruth Berkowitz, Hinda Honigman, Frederick Bornstein, Rose Berkowitz, Harold Perper, Dora Fayansky-Lurie, and Sam Denham. Any others? We certainly continue to remember Barbara Rabhan as well. Those reciting, you'll find it over on page 58. Yit gadal v'yit kadash shemei rabbah. V'yalma divra chirute v'yamlich malchute. V'chayechon uvyomechon uvchaye dechol beit Yisrael. Ba'agala uvizman kariv v'imru. Amen. Yehi shemei rabbah mevarach le'olam elomei olmaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitale v'yithalal shemei dekudasha b'richu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata da'amiran v'alma v'imru. Amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. You are welcome to be seated. Harold, I actually have you as my Bema buddy today. Did you know about that? You can pawn it off if you want on somebody else, because Sue's here, Richard's here. All right. So it's a board privilege. It's the privilege of the board. There you go. Oh well, you got to look at it that way, I guess. Oh, thank you. Like I say, it says 419 at the top, right? Is that the right one? Okay, good. Just making sure.
The kitchen's closed. There's a light opening. We're trying to get rid of all the hummus.
you can, and we have made, I know people have made some donations towards that, which is also a tradition, and we will donate whatever we get that are made of donations for selling chametz to either the local food bank or Mazon, which is an organization that helps with food. So we're going to keep that theme of food going forward. And with that, Yom HaShoah, just remember that Sunday the 5th, there'll be no turning points. There'll be no Hebrew that day either, but I hope you'll come May 5th for our Yom HaShoah program. It's been in the works for a while, and we're thrilled to be joining with the temple joining us this year, coming here to do it. Our kids will be hopefully involved in some way, the older kids, and it'll be a wonderful morning of learning along with remembering. So keep that in mind. 10:15 to 11:45. We should be done by 11:45 with it. So just keep that in mind. With that, we're going to end with a little bit of Bim Bam Shabbat Shalom. And a reminder, next week we do have our service Friday night. It will be Passover. We will have only Passover foods, whatever leftovers happen to be. We'll nosh on them for Friday night. But in particular, believe it or not, the service is just a slight shorter. We don't do all of the beginning psalms that we're used to doing as part of Kabbalat Shabbat. We actually start with the psalm for Shabbat and we move forward. So it'll be a taste of a little bit different. Maybe we'll mix it up with some Passover tunes as well, but just keep that in mind for next Friday night. Again, but we'll be at 6 o'clock still next Friday night. So with that, let's do a little bim bam, bim 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 bam, bim 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 bam, bim bam bim bam bim bam, bim 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 bam. Bim, 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 bam. Shabbat shalom. Hey, Shabbat shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Hey, Shabbat shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shabbat shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shabbat shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Hey, Shabbat shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shalom. Shabbat, Shalom. Thank you for helping to make a minyan. Sam, thanks for helping out. And Alice and Wendy for helping out on the bima as well. And we will head in the back, do a little kiddush. And we do have I think it's actually a Barry Zander challah, the last one we have until after the holiday when she bakes fresh and anew. And yes, it could be a Publix one, but not tonight. Tonight is the real thing still. Publix? Yeah. They do. You can help us eat the chametz. There's not a lot left, but there's some yummy stuff back there to eat.